Alright guys, device. Okay, guys. I'm gonna do a speed build of a Magpie because I need to do this, and I figured I'd see how fast I can go. So I got all my tools here. I got all my parts, I think. So the only caveat is that I've done a little tiny bit of support removal on a couple pieces, since this was an experimental part at the time. So we'll just pull that apart. If I can. Okay, there it goes. Alright, so first things first. I'm gonna get the frame going. Am I missing a part? I am missing a part. Oh no! Oh no. There it is. Okay. Okay. So, why does it want me to rotate my device? I'm on normal difficulty because it is normal. Okay, let's see. This is the side that uses the long screw. So the iron is hot and on, so I want to avoid that. Okay. Pre-do that screw. I need one of these. I don't know how good my camera setup is right now. Let me check that before I get too far into this, which will take away from my speed run time, but okay. There we go. Got as much light as I can get. This screw is too long, I think, so we'll just come in and grab a shorter one. It doesn't actually matter if that one's that long because it won't actually affect anything internally, luckily, but this will probably double as my build guide. I'm gonna have to find all my tools that I'm missing though. Most of the supports are still in, so we'll just have to do that too. This is authentic. I kind of really did want to know how long one of these would take me, so I could know how many I could take on in a month or so. I think that is the worst support in this piece, the frame side piece, just because it's so hard to get in there and get. I may have to make this 2 parts too, depending on if my kids need me or if things go wrong or anything. So that's just a heads up. Okay. I think that's most of the supports at this point. There really aren't that many on the Magpie, which is one of the things I'm really happy about with the design. I think that's looks like all of them. Alrighty. I usually like to do a dry fit of the internals because that helps me tune. Alright, stupid box. Did not stick with it. So let's move to the side more. Okay, I just did this here, and I discovered that on the pusher, the spring, if it's off to the side like this, it will bind and twist the pusher, so that's good to know. Alright. My friend just bought a, what was it? I think it was $150 or $200 set of pliers to do what I just did so much better than I can do it. And I want something. Gosh, I can't afford to do that. He's turning a lot of his own springs now and stuff, so totally worth it for him. I've only just barely started. This is an extension spring I turned myself, which I'm very proud of. It's not the best one that I have, though. That one I used today earlier, so... Dang it, I'm worried that I'm going to have to go in and check on my kids. Let's check. Okay. So if you already had a spring, I'm running low on the springs that I was using for this, so that's why I am doing this. Otherwise, I would recommend that you don't have to go through this part of the process. This is the part of the process that I'm going through because I don't want to spend money. And I already had a giant roll of 0.2 millimeter wire, which is a good... It turns out that works for most of my applications in terms of wire diameter. So, yeah, I hope that's okay, I do not have the indexing parts, so I'm going to have to see if I have enough of those, because if I don't, this is going to get cut real short here. Where's my screwdriver? Oh, Okay. Alright. Well, I'm glad that there's so many people who've been enjoying the Magpie like I have. I can't find my screwdriver, so I guess the stream is over. No, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I have a screwdriver. It's not my favorite one, but... you know, it'll do. I think I need a slightly longer screw in there. So I just buy my screws off of eBay. I actually have a lot of people who ask me about the screws. They are M2.6 self-tapping screws. I use them a lot and in a lot of my designs. I found a good seller on eBay that has various lengths, and I just use those. So there's some supports in there. I can't reach that with those, so we get out these ones. I just want to make sure that I grab all that stuff. I think I'm going to go in for a shorter screw. On this side of the hammer, I added screw holes because these are pretty, these rely on the layer adhesion for good quality. Both of these parts that hold this and help tell it how to move, kind of. And so I added the holes so you could add screws to make them more durable as needed. Okay, let me check. I hope that I have an indexing arm. Oh no, I don't. Okay. I think this stream might get cut tragically short. Or not. Roboman Automation has made and is selling laser cut copies of the indexing arm and the sear for $2.50. That's dirt cheap each for a set. And that's shipped in the US. So that, you know what, I don't think this is going to work. This is a left-hand one. I don't think it works. So that's really awesome. I haven't had a chance. I haven't gotten mine yet, and I haven't had a chance to test them. So I'm hoping they're, good. We'll see. Yeah, I might have to actually print one of those, which means I gotta set that up. I've been printing these parts in TPU lately because they can't snap, which happens with the PTG. It's not quite as springy as the PTG, but it doesn't break. So I am gonna try a left-hand one right now, and we'll see. I'm not counting on it to work because it doesn't have. It might be a little too thick to fit and travel properly with the screw popping out like that. So we'll see. Honestly, we'll be able to see that pretty quick because I'll just dry fit this in. I'm guessing that won't work, and I'm actually guessing that might be a problem on those parts from Roboman that I hadn't considered. Oh yeah, that's bad. We might have to adjust the file. Well, we can't because there's not room for it. So this won't work, so I am gonna have to print another one. So this speed run is getting a lot slower. Luckily, we can build the rest of it without this part. So I will be right back. I'm gonna check and see. Oh, perfect. It's right there. Ready to go. I just got to find it. There it is. Perfect. So while we're waiting for the print to start, I'm gonna show my shop. It's a big mess, but I'm really excited about it. So I've got my wall, and I got a light there, so ignore the light because I haven't figured out a ceiling mounted light yet. We've got 8 feet of counter space, shelves that I'm not using. I've got this like part bin. I've got my screw bin. And then over here, I've got like a big shelf system that I've got my printers on, my 2 printers. The CR10, which is highly modified, and then the Maker Select, which is only lightly modified. The Maker Select needs a new fan on the power supply because it is super noisy, and I'm sure, I have no doubt that this is going to be noisy during the whole video. So, but I'm already using the big one, so otherwise the big one goes faster and prints nicer. Although, actually most of my Magpie parts are printed on my little one these days because it handles, for whatever reason, it handles these really well. So, I'm not complaining about the quality on it. It works, it's nice. I am a big fan of it. Okay, so next step, since we got this side put together, we'll get this, and we can't do the hammer quite yet. I mean, we can start it, but start this one. So on the this one, I guess this really is going to be kind of like a build guide, because like a speed run build guide. Ella, what's up, babe? It's still too early to drive it, baby. Do you want me to turn on your show? Do you want to watch something? Yeah, I thought you'd want that. Okay. Well, go in then. Go in the house and get the stuff. Ellie, go get the stuff. Go get the stuff. If I sit on it, it say, ow! Uh-huh. It's not scary. Is it scary? You think it's scary? Oh, shit. Oops. Wait, can I get it from you? Thanks, I already grabbed it, babe. I'm gonna get you the card. Oh, no. I'm gonna make you free. I'm running low on this middle length of screw that I use, because It's really handy, and I haven't bought any more of that one. I've bought every other size again, except this one. So this one will go into both sides of the frame. Okay, and then we have the peg, which we get the long screw like this one for. I really shouldn't have turned on the iron. It's a waste of electricity. Oh, my screwdriver. A good one. Just hiding. Looking at me. Okay. Ellie? Well, go get the stuff. And when you're doing the screws in the printed parts, you have to be careful not to over tighten. When it feels like it stops turning, just stop. Because if you over tighten it, you'll strip, and that's bad. That's all kinds of bad. So.
I brought nothing to the ground.
Oh my gosh. Well then, how are you gonna watch your show, baby?
I'm gonna show you.
Oh, perfect. Well, I might actually wanna. We may end up switching back to the shorter screw. So this, we find a spring like this. I think this one's too strong though. This one's probably too long. I'm gonna think through all the screws I have on my table. I might, you know what? Let's So I've just been chopping all of my springs lately. I used to not do this, but nowadays I'm just like, whatever. Oh, that one's too long. Yeah, that won't do. I just cut that in half for nothing. Oh, whatever. This one might work. Looking a little long. We can test it. Oh, that'll do. So the spring on the cylinder catch goes like that, and then this one that has a hole in it goes over this. Oh my gosh. And then that locks into place here, and that holds the spring in place, and then we screw into the front with this, if I can find my little screws. Like so. Whoops. Alright, and then we check it. It should bounce back real easy. Oh, and then there's Now I don't understand this. My little printer leaves color for whatever reason on things sometimes. And I don't know why.
Look at me now.
Look at you! Oh my gosh, look at you.
I got a sock.
Uh-huh. This piece is completely unnecessary. It just is how it was supposed to be originally. This whole thing printed like... How did I do it? I printed it like this. This from the bed with a ton of supports, tree supports, and it was awful. Terrible idea. And I don't do that anymore. I cut it into multiple pieces, and that means it takes a bunch of screws and has more parts, but it's much easier to print. No supports. Oops. What was that? Apparently that screw is too short, and I don't know what just fell in here. Probably just a screw. I have a lot of screws on the ground in my shop. I was talking to some people about that shop. So. So I've been meaning to tweak this. These are supposed to slide together nicely, and they don't. So I've been having to come in with the rat tail file and carve out some space. If I just would change the files, I would save myself so much time in the post-processing, but I don't do that.
Is this better?
Uh-huh. Could you close the door? You know that's the rule, baby. that goes in. So this goes here, like so. We can actually just go like that. Uh-huh. Oh, thanks. Okay, I'm gonna be right back.
I gotta be right back too.
We're gonna watch this. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Kids, they need me. Yeah, I assume so. That is normal. Um, I should have turned on a show for my kids before I started this, but I didn't. So I'm forgetting where I was now. Why is that so tight? Didn't I fix that? I didn't. I'm a dumbass. So iron sight goes on the front sight goes into the motor cover. If I can get it. Jesus. Okay. There we go. I need to like fix that fit. It should be a looser fit than that. I don't need to screw it in at all. I'm just gonna see if it pulls it down better. Nope. Okay. Motor cover. Oh, there's an index in my Alright, I actually think that we are going to let's check the fit of the alright, so the trigger pin too, those don't fit. Which means it's drill time. So some of these things are just simply print tolerances. That's what this one is. The holes that I've got in the files are bigger than 1/8 of an inch, but they just don't print white where they need to. So we gotta just ream it out a little bit for the printed pin. I could probably find some metal pins for this, but I am lazy and cheap, and this is dirt cheap. Like it's hard to beat the cheap of a printed pin, you know. Actually, everything that the more I can print, the better it goes for me. So we do need to actually check this though. So this is one of the parts of the tuning, is that I've got to tune the trigger spring. So pull this out maybe if I can. I cannot. There we go. So the issue here is that the if I can get this fucker back in, oh my gosh. Yeah, there we go. Let's make sure that's in all the way. Yeah. So the issue here is the springs that I have. These ones are pretty strong, but they're too long. So I've got to cut them. What? Out there, probably. And then we'll take this, open that up, slide that over this hole here somehow. Maybe. Jeez. Okay. I think that'll do. Hopefully. Hopefully that's tight enough. I should put this back. My left hand's part pin. Screw this in, make sure it doesn't go past here because the, oh yeah, that's plenty strong. The grip will go over that spot here and that's inconvenient. This side also needs this. There is, as I've said before, there's another version of this particular piece that allows you to side load into the chamber. And I like that, but I don't like how it looks as much. So on the commissions that I feel like are specifically aesthetically oriented, like this one, well, that's a different kind of screw. Wait, is it? No, it's not. I don't think so. Head feels different. So, there we go. You definitely want to make sure on this side that these are flush, because if they're not, this cylinder can't move properly. Alright, how about that? That's done. Oops. Let's let it cool down a little bit. Turn off that punch. That file was already ready to go, and so I just ran it, and that is, you know, nice and convenient. So this one's in TPU, not PTG. This one, the arm here on this side seems to not really matter either way if it's PTG or TPU. It still works. The sear works slightly better in TPU, but well, it's kind of a toss-up on what that, if that's the case. I like it better in PTG because it has a nice snap, but that requires stronger springs and it has more tendency to fail. Again, I don't know about the Roboman parts yet because I don't have them yet, but I'll get them soon. And we come to my least favorite part. I can't think of a way around this, but feeding the hammer spring, no, that went really well. Feeding the hammer spring over this screw through the hammer, or the pusher spring, I guess, through the hammer is an enormous pain in the butt. And this spring may not be strong enough, so we might have to adjust it, and then if we have to adjust it, we have to go through all of that again. So, I need this here, because we're just about, besides testing the mechanics here, we are actually to wiring. Oh, that's not good. Why is that so clunky? So this is what all the tuning is for. Because something is making this not run properly. But what is the question? Oh, it's probably that screw there is not sunk in tight enough. But if I sink it in too tight, this doesn't want to work. So I'm going to take my knife and very carefully cut away, not that much, some of this material, so hopefully we can hit that head, that screw head further into the part, and you know, I think that's it, but I don't know for sure. Oops. With PLA, I could heat that up and just squish it, but I don't think TPU can do that the same way. This has to return fully, so it has to be loose enough to do that. That's where I think the problem is. Yeah, I think so. I think we're the screw head is dragging on the wall here. Oh, bloody hell. Okay. Yeah, it is a little bit. We might have to put some stuff in there, but we can test some hammer and trigger. It's a little sticky and not as smooth as I want. Oops. So I will definitely want to. No, it's okay. I'm definitely gonna want to lubricate that, but that's kind of a problem for in a bit. Okay, now it's cage time. I always like to put the names facing inward because that makes it really consistent that the black wire is always barrel side, and then they spin the right direction. That's how I've always done it for a very long time now. Thread locker into there. Screws. Motor screws. I usually do one on each motor and then the other one. And then this is a right-hand one, so the wires go on this side. So I want to bend the tabs like this, so the black wire is closer and the red wire has more space, so that it can bend a little more. Once the joints are made, it gets kind of stiff and doesn't like to do that. I'm gonna actually pop those out of the way. I wish that I could make it so this part didn't have to print on a support. I guess I could figure out a way, but I haven't really taken the time to do that. Okay, out of the wheels. If I had some white ones, that would look so good. I don't have any white ones. So. So we start it. These Magpie videos are probably getting a little repetitive. This might be the last one that I really stream, just because, you know, they're clampy. Test the fit. Check it. Looks good. Okay. Then we throw this. Well, we don't actually need to finish assembling. We can start wiring. I have pre-cut the lengths of wire. I've got 7 sets actually. So, you know. The XT60 ends, and then the motor ends. This one's a switch end, so it doesn't, that affects all the lengths of exposed wire, is all. Then we get out my silver marker, and we check this fit here. Whoops. Oh no. I'm ruining my mat. I actually went out of my way to buy these silver markers just so that I could mark these wires, the black ones specifically. And I fucked up. I tore off too much. It's probably fine, but the way that I'm going to compensate for that is I'm going to just cut a little bit of this off, make a big mess, just garbage, and then I'm going to strip this here a little more. Okay, and where is my solder? Here it is. Okay. Then we do the twist, XT60 side. Okay, there we go. This is the fast part. Check for comments. Yep. It's the one oh, hey, this one's already cut. I'll save that for another time. I always do thread locker on my cages because I have had, you know, that occasional motor come loose, and that is kind of the worst. At least I don't like it. Okay. Okay, all of our wires are tinned. I'm gonna wipe this off, grab my cleaning thingy. Then we'll just tin the tabs. I don't know why that tab always goes weird. Okay. Then, super quick, the needed. Gosh, shit. Ouch. Ow! Bastard. Okay. Grab this one. Okay. No! I moved too early. Okay. Alright. Then, as I mentioned, we bend these guys sideways, and then we find this one, and we throw it in place. Okay, perfect. Well, I might not want to actually do that just yet, since I haven't wired the rest of the thing yet. I need to find my switch. Okay, switch. To the switch. This is why I use this really big head on my soldering iron. Do you believe? Yes, it is. I had some really good luck with this earlier of snipping this one some. If I can do it again. There it goes. So it's shorter, so it fits a little better. But you can just bend them up like that. Then we need some heat shrink. We need 2 of these. One goes on this tab here, which I should not have let go of the switch, to be honest. Okay. So this one goes like this. Okay. Heat shrink on, please. There we go. Then we flip it over. Yeah. And we do this one. Hopefully. Oh, didn't work. I don't think I nearly enough solder in there. What is it I'm trying to do? Oh, you poop. Alright, that's plenty strong now. Other heat shrink goes over this one. As much as we can. Okay. Check. I'm getting messages. I gotta make sure it's nothing bad. Okay. Yeah, I think this is like the cheapest one on Amazon, so I'm not too surprised that other people have it. And then last is the XT60. This used to be my least favorite, but then I got a soldering iron that could handle how hot it needed to be. And it goes fine. Plus, okay. Oh wait, I need to get my heat shrinks for this. I don't want to miss that. I hate missing the heat shrink. Just make sure we got that real good. I also like to not fuck it up like that. No, I fucked up. I really like it when my heat shrink can go over the hot thing there, the hot connector, without shrinking too fast. Ah, balls. Well, I don't think it's going to be a big problem, but it isn't perfect, and that bugs me. But what I might be able to do is just use a big cover on this. I hear some inside talking. There we go. That one good. It's too hot to hold right now. So maybe I can drag my heat shrink over this a little bit. I don't think I can. That is a bummer. I might want to redo it, to be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna redo it. I don't like it. On the XT60s, I don't like the heat shrink being wrong. Since the batteries are right there, I don't know. Probably doesn't matter all that much, but it bugs me. So let me just get in there. Hopefully, and undo my work. Or not. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So what I'm gonna just flip this guy around. And then we're just gonna heat it up again. Redo it. Okay. This time we're gonna do it right. No, we're not. Fuck, what the hell? Oh my god, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a failure. I did worse. Ow. I did it even worse than before. It got caught on the edge because I didn't wait long enough. Don't do what I do. You'll be a failure forever. I've already lost my speedrun champion title now. It is impossible. But I'm really anal about this, so. I think this is a little bit of a safety concern though. Whoops. Fuck. It's sticking to my fucking finger. What the fuck is this shit? Okay. Jesus fuck, it's just getting worse. I think it's too hot. And nothing's sticking. Alright, I gotta see what that message was in case it's important. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. Oh, okay, I'll be back, guys. I have child problems, I can see. Alright, I'm back. Sorry guys. Again, it's one of those things. Okay. My kids brought my dog's dog food up to our bedroom, and then, well, my daughter did that, and then my son spilled it because he's a hardcore badass. Okay. I hate unplugging these. Okay. I believe. Cook these. So other than some minor hiccups there, I went okay in terms of speed. Time spent. Okay. Seriously again? Okay. This keeps happening. I need to check the file. There needs to be some camphors there. And there are not, which is not good. Because I need to these screws need to fit in there without problems. Oh man. This is frustrating to me. Okay. So I'm gonna do my favorite trick, which is I'm going to use a lighter. I'm gonna put the screw in. We're gonna get it ready to go. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a lighter and I'm gonna hit that spot of plastic. Hopefully carefully so we don't overheat anything. And then we are gonna screw this in and it will squish the plastic. Oh yeah, there it goes. See? So we squish the plastic flat, and then we'll do it again over here. This side won't be as difficult as that one because there's parts this one lines up against. No, I need to use the long ones. Ow, it's hot. Shit. I hope it didn't heat up my hammer at all. I will get those files updated someday. This spot here is luckily all hidden by the grip, so it's not a huge deal. But I just don't like it being like that. Okay. The grip on this particular one is TPU, so it will flex over that screw head just fine, but normally you'd want it to be like fully flush, and this is because we can't actually print pegs for the switch. We have to put this stuff in here like this. So, I always put the black wire under. Okay. I won't. Oh, that's fine. Okay. Might want to bend this guy up even more, or just yoink the wire around a bit. Okay. Ooh, those are pokey. Okay. Now we just have to hope all the springs are strong enough so I don't have to deal with that. Okay. Okay. Squish all of that. Put this in place. Okay. Okay. Everything is looking pretty good, except that I do think that's going to be a problem. Can also get that guy in there. Front pieces. Then we need to put this here. just enough to hold it in place. Then we take all these wires here, feed them in, and I've got too much red. Well, whatever. And then we get some screws. This. Screws for the cage. What is going on? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I just can't find the screw. Okay, then we will pull up some of the wires. We want to make sure that the entire barrel chamber, or whatever you want to call it, is totally open, or yeah, totally open, no wires sticking out. And we're going to have a problem here with this red wire, I think, unless I can get it all fed in properly. It's being annoying. That just means that the length of wire wasn't measured as quite as carefully as it should have been. It's not like a big deal, it's just slightly annoying. Favorite stock Nerf gun? That's a hammer shot. And then probably the sling fire. Because they were special, did unique things, and were really fun to use, and that goes a long way for me. I don't really care about anything Hasbro has to offer in terms of performance or anything like that. It's fine, they're all fine, but they just, a long time ago, I stopped wanting what they were making, and they never made what I wanted, so that's why I do this. That's why I make things like this. And, you know, here we are. Okay. I see my black wire is not out of the way enough. So I'm gonna try and feed that. Really? Ah, shit. Okay, what I'm gonna do is, I really don't like pulling this side off, but I got to. Okay. So I'd say that we're past assembly now, the normal side of assembly, into the tuning side of things. And this is what I think usually takes the longest, personally. But it's not like a huge deal to me to do. I don't mind the tuning, it's kind of fun, making it run smoother and better. But, you know. So why is that so open there? Why indeed? Actually, that is a legitimately good question. They're like missing material. How did I miss that? On the files, while designing it? I don't know. That gives us lots of room for wires, so whatever, I don't care. Honestly, if I get it built and it all goes together, I'm fine with whatever. Okay, so. And now, this was the only other thing that I'd assembled, was the iron sights, because I had a piece of the gold filament that I cut, so they already have the pin figured out through them, but you know. Okay, there we go. Sorry guys, off screen. Some of these things I just can't do on screen. It's magic. Okay. And there's the cylinder. So what's funny about every single one, they all feel different. This one, I shouldn't unplug that. Let's check that the motors are spinning in the right direction. They almost certainly are, but yep. Oops. So every single Magpie that I've ever made has always felt unique and different. The trigger pull always feels different. Always has a different sort of feel to it, which I think is kind of fun. It means that every single one that's built is kind of special. This one has a very sort of clicky feel. Some of them feel super like smooth and like everything just moves and nothing's like colliding. This one feels like it's got a lot of resistance as it wants to turn. If it wants to turn. I wonder why. Okay. Frankly, this one's actually kind of. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I wonder why. Why? How? Well, it was clicky before. I wonder if my sear is. I wonder if my sear is bending. All right. Well, so it kind of works. I'm gonna have to do some tuning on this one. Well, let's take a look. I probably have to go soon, so you know. So to check, I do want to unplug that because we finished with the soldering iron. So the nice thing about the new files on the Mag is that we can just yoink this side off and check. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Dang it. The trigger pin is not supposed to come out with it. Okay. Just made that a little bigger. Okay. I'm suspecting that something is going on here. What? That's weird. It's just not going. You know what? It might be my GPU arm is not. It seems like it's the arm. That's interesting. I wonder if it's not on tight enough. Well, that's unfortunate. Because when I don't have the cylinder in it, rotates just fine. I have another cylinder somewhere I can try. I need it right now. Yeah, I think it's that. Well, let's throw this guy back in and check. Or it's that same screw problem on the sear that was having. We'll have to see. Anyway, yeah, I was actually really surprised how much I liked this color scheme too, because it's really not my normal thing. Oh, no, it might be. No, I don't think it's that. So every single one of these just always needs a lot of tuning. I don't know why. I think it's something with the sear, because it's only the trigger pull. Oh, you know what it could be though. All right. Well, I think that was a pretty good run, about an hour to build one of these, so from start to finish. So I appreciate you guys watching and tuning in. I'm a big fan of this here. As I've said before, I do like these colors. They're not my thing, but they look nice. So, you know, I will probably keep doing some more streaming of some kind in the near future. So, thanks for watching. Bop, bop, bop.